our topic for today, just going to be foreign national loans. So obviously, as a foreign national by nature doesn't live or reside here in the U.S., so they're not primary homes. So we're talking investment properties here, and that's why the DSCR loan does work. Some of those programs do work for foreign nationals. Now we can't do that on the live pricer. We could use it, but they are a little confusing. The programs start to get limited and have different restrictions. So that's why we have Jose doing a deep dive here into the options we have available for foreign nationals to get properties here in the US. And we still have some great programs with very aggressive LTVs, but you do have to obviously reduce it from typically the max when we're using a special type. So that's why it's hard to do on the live pricer. But Jose, if you have some examples ready, let's go ahead and check out our foreign national programs.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Daily Rates Live with the Mortgage Calculator. First, I wanted to add a little context to this so that I can basically confirm what is a foreign national and what is not a foreign national. Just reminding everybody, tomorrow's training is I-10, right? International Tax ID number, individual. So, and we do that on purpose because today we're doing foreign nationals, right? And they're similar buckets, but one has 1 foot here and the other foot not here. So the foreign national is the one that has 2 feet outside of the US. Basically, they want to buy a property here. That's great. We love it. But they do not live here on a permanent basis. That's the difference between the I-10 borrower and the foreign national borrower. The I-10 borrower is working here in the United States to obtain their income from the United States, right? They do not have legal status in the United States, which is what is going to be the only real similarity between the I-10 borrower and the foreign national borrower. It has to do with the status, but the I-10 borrower is working in the U.S. of A full time to get their income from here, whether they're self-employed, 1099. Usually, the I-10 borrowers are going to have to be some type of 1099. They're filing tax returns with an I-10, not with a Social Security number. And since they do not have a work permit, they cannot get paid with a W-2 because it would not be legal to do their payroll deductions unless they actually have a Social Security number. So, foreign national is a citizen of another country and residing in another country and deriving their income if income is going to be used in another country. Now, I will state we do have situations where we have a foreign national who has dual citizenship. Now, that normally you would be told, no, they got to be treated like a U.S. national borrower if they have dual citizenship and one of the citizenships happens to be USA. However, there on a case by case basis, we can submit that for an exception if they were, for example, born here, have their citizenship due to that, but have never lived in the United States, or their parents are U.S. citizens, gave them citizenship. They're born in another country, but they're also a citizen of another country, and they've never really established anything here, credit or a life here, then we could offer that borrower a loan as a foreign national, even if they have US based credit, like some foreign nationals do. If they run their business, income, and everything else out of that other country where they had the dual citizenship, then we can treat them like a foreign national. So that's real good to know because we do get that situation every now and then. So at the Mortgage Calculator, we love providing solutions. So we have solutions even for the foreign national borrowers. Now, talking about solutions, the foreign national borrower can be qualified either via full doc or via DSCR, right? Qualifying the borrower on the gross rental income obtained by the property divided by the total housing expense, PITI, and if it's a condo or townhouse association fee as well, that would be the total housing expense. And we have options where the DSCR is 1.0 and above, And believe it or not, for foreign nationals, we even have options below 1.0. We have a no ratio DSCR loan. So, of course, you have to lower the LTV a little bit on those, but the same. We do have that option for purchases and for refis. Another interesting note for the foreign national a borrower is, where are they going to sign? Are they able to come to the United States to sign in person? Are they required to have a valid visa in order to be able to sign, regardless of where they may be signing? Right. So normally the answer the foreign national is going to hear is yes, you have to have a valid visa if you are a citizen or reside in a non visa waiver country. Most of the world is a non of the countries in the world are non visa waiver countries, right? So we at the Mortgage Calculator actually have a solution for borrowers that do not have an active valid visa. And you all know during the pandemic that became a very big challenge because consulates and embassies around the world shut down unexpectedly and shut down for an indefinite period of time. They got really backlogged in the appointments to grant these visas to the foreign nationals. Many foreign nationals had their visas expired during that time period and were not able to obtain one to be able to travel here, and also to obtain one to meet the requirements of many of the foreign national loans that say you have to have a valid visa. Well, we have an option that does not require them to have a valid visa, and we can fund the loan as long as they are not planning on coming to physically sign in the USA. Because I mean, we'll do the loan, but we can't, say, hey, let our borrower into the USA if they don't have a visa. But we do not require it, and they can sign at the consulate or embassy in their country with an appointment. Or we also have remote online notarization as an option. But you do have to check that option with your title company, title underwriter, to make sure that they accept the conditions of vesting the individual's ID and all that kind of stuff for a foreign national. They're very tricky there. So not only does the lender have to accept it, which we do, but the title company's underwriter has to accept it, and we don't control that. That is a borrower selected option there. So make sure if you do have a foreign national loan, you check on those closing options at the very beginning of the loan instead of at the end, and probably something you want to discuss with your borrower when you're pre-approving them, because it's that important to logistically have this set up to close way before the closing date for obviously airline appointments with embassies, consulates, appointments with remote online notarization, and verifying that all of these different closing methods are accepted. So even though the foreign national loan will probably document wise be the simplest, easiest loan that you do, the challenge that can be presented that may cause a big obstacle, believe it or not, at the end is if the closing logistics are not discussed early in the process, and now you're trying to close and you have 5 6 days left on a rate lock. Seller wants to close, deal has to fund, and you have somebody on the other side of the world that is just can't happen on the drop of a dime. So let's get into the actual rates here. We have some great options, right? So here's our foreign national full doc purchase. So what is full doc on a foreign national? Pretty easy. Foreign full doc on a foreign national is simply a CPA letter from their country of origin where they live. If they're self-employed, CPA letter, and if they're an employee, or salaried or hourly, and a salaried hourly employee, a letter from the employer, right? Uh, that's it. A similar letter that would be signed by the CPA slash tax preparer slash accountant, but most likely in the countries it's going to be a CPA. Now, for this particular option that I have here, We do not require a credit verification letter for the option that we don't require a visa. We also do not require a credit verification letter. That's very important when trying to simplify your documentation, right? So here, 9.75 lowest cost option, 8.75 lowest rate option. Now, DSCR, I did mention that to you. This is 75%. And now I want you to see this. This is not an anomaly here, folks, right? I want to put this back so everybody can see what's going on here, right? This is full doc for national, right? Now, you would pick full doc. Obviously, the only reason to really pick full doc is if the borrower plans to occupy the property at any given moment, right? Because in the DSCR, it's investment only. On the For National Full Doc, this is an investment quote that I ran here. I did not run it as a second home, but I ran it full doc because it would allow sporadic occupancy if they chose to at some point. If they're doing, for example, short-term rentals on it as their investment option, but they got a free weekend that they want to pop in there and do it, you can do that if you're going full doc. You cannot do that if you're going DSCR. And now, what I wanted to bring up, that would be really the only reason why you would choose full doc in this option over DSCR because, well, and this option also has the simplified visas and stuff like that as well. Remember that. But look at the rate here, 8.75. Wow, this is real too, folks. I double checked my loan level price adjustments to make sure that this is foreign national and not U.S. citizen. And look at that, buy it down all the way to 7.75%, right, for a foreign national DSCR. Maximum LTV also 75% is the maximum LTV. So now I wanted to show our foreign national simplified option at a 75% LTV. This was the lowest cost option for that route is 9.99, and costing 2 points loan discount. And you can buy it down if you want to, but that's additional expense there. What I wanted to bring up is the only real reason you would be using this option over the one that I just provided in the previous quote that smokes this one is if you have the borrower that does not have the visa, right? So they want the option where they can sign in their country and not be required to have a visa as part of their documentation requirements, regardless of if they're going to come here or not. This option does not have that requirement, nor does this option as a DSCR. This does not require credit reference letters. That's another document simplification. And this option also does not require a CPA reference letter to verify their occupancy in their country, right? What they pay, where they live, it's paid off, all that kind of stuff that you may be required. Even if it's a DSCR loan, they're going to require some type of accountant CPA verification letter for housing expense. This one does not require it. So again, you want to keep it simpler. This is the one you want to pick, right? So now cash out option using the same simplified document techniques. You're looking at 9.99 again. This one was 9.99, costing 2 points on the 75% LTV purchase. This one takes it up to a maximum 70% LTV, which is also the maximum LTV on a foreign national cash out. This is the only one out there that has 70% LTV also. So two reasons to pick this one. If they want to really max it out 70%, this is it. And if they also want to combine that with the no visa requirement, no credit reference letter required, and no accountant letter required, very streamlined documentation for your foreign national loans, that's the one. And then last but not least, our maximum LCR with a low rate is 65%. So this is where pretty much the rest of the market, other than that 170% option that we have, this is where the rest of the market is. And you can tell by the rates, because now we drop it to 65%. And we have, geez, we even have a lender credit. Look at that. 8.5% with a lender credit. And you can buy that down all the way to 7.5%. And I do want to remind everyone out there that this DSCR loan, when they're closing it in an entity, this is a business purpose loan for everybody that's out there and is wondering, licensing requirements and what states can I fund this. So, just make sure that you look at the legal requirements. But this is a business purpose loan with 8.5% lowest cost option and 7.5 lowest rate option.
All right, great. I don't see any questions here. Definitely some amazing rates there. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up then.